Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan. Today I have a review of an entire gaming series. The series we're looking at today are the Bethesda Fallout games. Now before anybody jumps into the comments, I am aware that Fallout New Vegas was made by Obsidian but published by Bethesda, but as it follows a similar style, I am counting it. I'm also not including Fallout Shelter because it is a free-to-play mobile game. It's fine. There's your review. Don't spend money on it. So grab your Nuka-Cola, strap on your Pit-Boy, and try your best to not get irradiated because here are reviews of every Fallout game that Bethesda published. Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan. Today I'm going to tell you if this game is worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Fallout 3. Bethesda bought and revived Fallout way back in 2008. Is this first in their reboot series worth playing today? Fallout 3 was released on Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC, and you can still play it through PlayStation Plus's streaming, or it is available backwards compatible on Xbox Game Pass. It is worth pointing out that the PC version on Steam is currently borked, and you will need to mod it to actually play it. Bethesda did not fix it, and the game takes around 20 to 100 hours to beat depending on how much of it you want to explore. So what exactly is Fallout 3? Well, it's an open world RPG set in a post-apocalyptic Washington DC that has been ravaged by nuclear war. You play as the Vault Dweller, raised in an underground bunker to save humanity from nuclear war. However, your father, Liam Neeson, not wanting to get taken, busts out of the vault and you follow behind into the wastelands beyond. Now you need to survive this blasted blight, following your father and aiding in his quest to de-radiate the water in the capital wasteland. Fallout 3 plays similarly to other Bethesda open world RPGs in that the world is massive and littered with side quests to explore, with the handcraftedness of these various locations varying. As you play, you'll level up and can allocate points into a variety of different skill sets, ranging from gun types, speech, barter, repair, and so on. The higher stats with these skills, the better you are at shooting guns, bartering in shops, repairing your gear, and so on. Combat is done with first-person gunplay or melee, with a revision to the previous game's VAT system. VAT essentially lets you stop time and then target specific enemy body parts, with a percent chance to hit based on your accuracy, distance, perks, etc. While hitting the head might do the most damage, it's often the smaller target. So instead, you might want to be more strategic and target their weapon arm to make them drop their gun, for example. The amount of shots you have in VATS is dependent on your AP, which is governed by Fallout's classic special stats. Special being strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. You set these at the start of the game and they'll guide your build as you progress. Of course, the world has a massive amount of side quests and content to embark on should you wish. The karma system will benefit or punish you based on the good or bad decisions along the way. There's certainly a lot more to Fallout 3, but that's the general gist. It's an open world post-apocalyptic RPG with a focus on VATS, gunplay, character building, and exploration. So what do I like about Fallout 3? Well, the new VATS is fun and exciting to use, turning what might have just been a first-person shooter into a more tactical experience as you prioritize different body parts based on the situation. Additionally, the world is absolutely massive, with tons of interesting things to explore and surprises to uncover. And lastly, the aesthetic falls well in line with the Fallout's destroyed nuclear 1950s vibe, combined with the DC area leads to some great reimaginings of real-life locations. When it comes to the bad, combat outside of VATS is really lackluster, with accuracy being completely dependent on stats rather than where you're actually aiming, leading to some massively frustrating firefights. Additionally, the RPG elements are very lackluster when compared to previous games, with perks in particular basically just granting more points to various skills, and speech being the only stat that can have any influence over anything, and it's still based on dumb luck. And lastly, the morality system feels really out of place in the world of Fallout, as the games previously have thrived on being morally gray. That means that having clear good and bad choices pop up every decision you make dilutes the entire concept of making right choices for the wrong reasons, etc. Not a great fit. As you know, I rate games here in a 3-point scale: must play, maybe consider, don't bother. I am going to say Fallout 3 is a maybe consider, but I was honestly considering giving this game a don't bother. Let me explain why. If you enjoy Fallout for its RPG elements, then New Vegas is the vastly superior game. If you instead want a more shooty, action-oriented RPG, then Fallout 4 is the vastly superior game. Fallout 3 at this point in time has been completely outdone by its successors in nearly every way. It's still a completely passable experience, and you might enjoy the capital wasteland better than other locations, but if you've played either of its two immediate sequels, you will find it is difficult to head right back into that capital wasteland. And that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think about Fallout 3? Have you played it? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Regardless, please let me know in the comments, and then go out there and enjoy Fallout 3. Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan. Today I'm going to tell you if this game is worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Fallout New Vegas. Obsidian and the original Fallout team are back to make a new Bethesda-style Fallout game. Does their gamble pay off? Fallout New Vegas is available on Xbox 360, PS3, and PC. For those consoles, you can stream it through either PlayStation Plus, or it is available through backwards compatibility on the Xbox Game Pass. And the game will take you anywhere between 30 to 100 hours to beat, depending on how much of its world you wish to explore. So what exactly is Fallout New Vegas? Well, it's an open world, first-person, post-apocalyptic RPG similar on the surface to its predecessor, Fallout 3, but it actually does quite a few things differently. You play as the Courier, who, when traveling to deliver a poker chip of significant importance, is murdered by a man in a checkered suit, or so that man thought. Revived by a good-hearted doctor, you must traverse into the desert wastelands surrounding New Vegas to find the man who tried to kill you, recover the chip, and decide what to do with what you learned the poker chip actually is. Fallout New Vegas carries a lot of things over from Fallout 3, such as the open world, the slow-mo's VATS combat, the first-person perspective, and more. However, it expands on these principles with seemingly small but actually significant improvements to the system as well as the game and world itself. Perks now play a much larger role in customizing your character rather than simply granting stat points, as they allow for more fringe and interesting builds such as a melee-based build. Additionally, the dialogue system has been completely reworked, allowing for traits other than speech to affect dialogue choices. These meaningful changes are all over the dialogue options throughout Fallout New Vegas and make it for a more robust RPG experience. Additionally, the meaningful RPG elements are also expanded into the new faction system, with there being a ton of different factions each vying for control of the area, and you have to make decisions on how to interact with them or just blow them off completely. The game has a plethora of paths and endings to reach based on your personal goals, character builds, beliefs, and so on. This allows for much richer interactions between factions and their characters, as well as a deeper exploration of the ideologies at play in this post-apocalyptic world. There is certainly much more to New Vegas than this, but ultimately that is the main takeaway. It takes the framework established by Fallout 3 but expands on it significantly and makes it a much more fleshed out and more robust RPG experience. So what do I like about Fallout New Vegas? Well, as I said, the RPG elements are just fantastic here, dramatically upgraded from Fallout 3 in both character growth, interactions, builds, and the new perks being fantastic. Additionally, the quests are so well designed, with most having multiple paths not only to start, but work through and finish based entirely on how you've built your character and what information you found in the world thus far. Many of them have much more complications and accommodations than they did in the previous game. And lastly, the world is very rich and thought out, particularly the factions, with each having their own currency, belief systems, and how these clash off of each other makes for some rich dialogue and decision making as you're kind of stuck in the middle of it all. When it comes to the bad, a lot of the content is recycled from Fallout 3, which usually isn't a bad thing, but some guns, when you try to scope, just can't because they don't have scopes in the models they're reusing. Weird things like that pop up now and again. Additionally, that karma system from 3 still feels incompatible with Fallout morality. Luckily, they seem to barely use it in this game in lieu of faction affiliation, but it's weird it's still here. And lastly, while I do enjoy VATS, it still feels like at times it can break the game and make the game too easy should you know how to abuse it. As you know, I rate games here on a 3-point scale: must play, maybe consider, don't bother. Fallout New Vegas is absolutely a must play. It is just a fantastic game. While at first glance it may not look too much different from Fallout 3, once you dig in you will find a considerably more thought out, meaty, robust, and deep RPG system in nearly every capacity. While it still does have more than a few of those Bethesda open world issues that plague their games, it doesn't change the fact that this is a phenomenal post-apocalyptic RPG on par in quality with the original games. If you play one Fallout game, I would suggest it be this one. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think about Fallout New Vegas? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's the best in the series? Are there others you prefer? Please let me know in the comments. But regardless, make sure you go out there and enjoy the hell out of Fallout New Vegas. Hello and welcome to 3-Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan. Today I'm going to tell you if this game is worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Fallout 4. Fallout is back yet again with a lot of gameplay changes and a new setting of Boston, Massachusetts. Is it worth going post-apocalyptic again? Fallout 4 was released on Xbox, PC, and PlayStation, and is currently available on both Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. Additionally, the game is at least 25 hours long, though you are probably going to spend much more, up to 100 plus, in the Boston wasteland. So what exactly is Fallout 4? Well, it's another open world shooter with RPG and base building elements set in a post-apocalyptic Massachusetts. You play as a vault dweller who, as well as your spouse and child, are cryogenically frozen just as the bombs begin to drop. However, your spouse and son are thawed early and your spouse killed and son taken. So after you shake the icicles off, you're gonna have to channel your inner Liam Neeson to go find your child in this post-apocalyptic commonwealth. Fallout 4's basic structure is very similar to the previous game in that it's an open world with an abundance of areas to explore, loot to find, and enemies to shoot at with the slow-mo limb targeting VATS, but there have been been some significant changes overall. First off, shooting has been improved significantly, meaning you don't have to rely as much on that, as you can now aim down sights and use traditional pew pew bang bang rather than the strategic slow-mo from the previous games. Secondly, crafting is now a major part of the game. Remember all that junk you could pick up in other Bethesda games? Well, now it can be stripped down for parts, which can be used to either upgrade your guns and armor, or in the game's settlement building portions to establish larger bases or cities. On the flip side, the RPG elements have generally been significantly stripped down. Assigning points to individual skills like small guns, etc. has been completely removed and replaced with a perk-only system where tiers of perks are unlocked based on your special allocation. Each level gives you a perk point to spend, with most perks having multiple levels, and perks being more general in their application than the previous system. And lastly, dialogue has been truncated down to a Mass Effect style 4-choice system, with 3 of them basically being the same thing, and 1 relying on your speech stat, which is back to being based around a percentage from Fallout 3 rather than a guarantee. With those changes, Fallout 4 is much more focused on the minute-to-minute exploration and shooting than the RPG bits, and this is further evidenced by its MMO-style repeatable quests of go here, kill things, come back that bolster XP and caps. Of course, there are still many factions to side with and main story points to explore along the way. So overall, Fallout 4 is fairly significant change from the previous game, with a heavier focus on shooting and base building and less on RPG elements such as dialogue, unique quests, and strong character customization. So what do I like about Fallout 4? Well, the shooting really does feel very solid, easily the best in the series, with a wide variety of weapons to choose from and a means to accommodate most playstyles. Additionally, weapon customization is really fun, with many upgrades being very significant and allowing you to craft a basically perfect arsenal to accommodate your playstyle. And lastly, even though I lament losing a lot of the in-depth RPG leveling, I did enjoy the streamlined special perk system to leveling up, as it provided significant upgrades each level and gave clear goals to shoot for with my character. When it comes to the bad, despite what I just said, I do really miss the strong RPG character building elements presented in the previous 2 games, and it feels like this might have streamlined everything a little too much. Additionally, the new dialogue system is a joke. I don't even know why speech is in the game anymore. You can't even choose direct responses, and instead just a proposed general mood and your character says whatever. For a series that was very much focused around dialogue, this feels like a misstep. And lastly, story and factions in this world feel really underdeveloped when compared to Fallout New Vegas and even Fallout 3 in some places, with the overall drive forward not being compelling and a lot of that Fallout gray morality just not there. As you know, I rate games here on a 3-point scale. Must play, maybe consider, don't bother, and Fallout 4 is definitely a maybe consider. It got a lot of flack for being a game in a series renowned for its rich levels of player choice and RPG mechanics, and Fallout 4 basically strips that all down to its bare minimum. But honestly, as an open world shooter, it's still fairly solid. The core loop that makes Bethesda games engaging is still here, and the setting and aesthetic look great as ever. While fans of the series might be disappointed, those new to the franchise and don't have the baggage will find a lot to love in this game's shooting, exploring, crafting, and setting. Here's just hoping Fallout finds a good balance between this and New Vegas. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think about Fallout 4? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Please let me know in the comments. Regardless, you go out there and enjoy Fallout 4. Hello and welcome to 3-Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game is worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Fallout 76. Plagued with probably the most infamous launch of any game until Cyberpunk 2077, Fallout 76 is still active and being pumped full of free DLC to this day. Now, in 2022, is it worth diving into this post-apocalyptic multiplayer game? Fallout 76 is available on Xbox, PC, and PlayStation, and is available on both Game Pass and PlayStation Plus if you don't want to pay for it. And the game time is technically infinite. You can get through most of the main story in around 30 to 100 hours, depending on how much of the side quest you want to engage in, and should you wish to engage in late game raids and such. So what exactly is Fallout 76? Well, it's a multiplayer games as service style game set in the post-apocalyptic West Virginia that has not only suffered nuclear fallout, but a horrible disease that basically killed everybody who was left over. Almost hell, West Virginia. You play as a vault dweller that was one of the best of mankind, tossed out of the vaults with tools to remake the ruined world along with a handful of other randos or friends in this new wasteland. While on the surface, the game is similar to previous Bethesda Fallout games, it is actually significantly different in a lot of core ways. While you still will be exploring an open world, following quest lines and gathering materials to upgrade weapons, all while leveling up, the general flow of the game has been changed significantly. First off, the game is multiplayer and always online, which means you can either play with friends or on a public server where there may be randos running around. PvP doesn't happen unless you elect for it, however, so most of the time they do their thing and you do yours. Quests are split into 2 distinct types, the kind made at launch and the kind made after. The kind before launch basically involve no human NPCs, with quests given via text messages found throughout the world or various robots that still inhabit the wasteland. After people complained, they added more quests and NPCs with them to try and flesh out the human survivors. Regardless, I found all the quests to be very similar. Go here, get this thing, bring it back, etc., which is common for games as service style games, if not particularly creative. Gunplay is similar to Fallout 4, except VATS can no longer stop time as it's always online. Rather, it's more like an auto-aim. You'll be tasked with building camps across the world, which you use to store your extra junk, build defenses, rest up, and so on. These are also free fast travel points as fast travel now costs. Caps. You'll level up, which is an even more stripped down and random version of Fallout 4's system. Basically, every level you invest in a special point, and then unlock a card that can be equipped to a special stat should you have enough points for it. Cards have varying costs, so if you have, example, 4 points in luck, you equip a 3-pointer and a 1-pointer card, or just one 4-pointer card. You also get a pack of card every couple of levels and can switch them out at any time, encouraging you to mix and match your build based on the situation. Aside from that, you'll be doing the usual exploring, questing, gathering resources, crafting weapons, guns, and ammo, and doing some light survival elements like eating and drinking. The world is large and has plenty of things to explore, and once you get to the end game, you can participate in raid dungeons with your fellow players to unlock better legendary gear, and so on. There's more to this, but I am way over time. So overall, Fallout 76 is a vastly different game than the rest of the series, focusing more on being a games-as-service multiplayer game than its predecessor's RPG or detailed world focus. So what do I like about Fallout 76? Well, the world is massive and has some really cool zones, especially as you get to the later portions of the game, and the fact that you can tackle the story in pretty much any order was smart and led to some interesting revelations. Additionally, the general loop of acquiring items, exploring, doing quests, and leveling is addicting as ever. This is the Bethesda formula, and it's still here. And lastly, multiplayer actually is pretty fun if you can get some friends to go with you. It was clear that this was how this game was meant to be played. When it comes to the bad, tedious is the word I'd use to describe this game, with leveling taking a long time, gathering resources for upgrades taking a long time, building camps taking forever, walking everywhere taking time because traveling costs money, especially early on, etc. This game loves to waste your time. Additionally, the always online portion leads to some significant hiccups in gameplay, be it server lag, having to wait for killed enemies' inventories to load, the constant messaging that other players on my server are launching nukes, starting events, or inviting you to groups, or whatever. And lastly, this game is still absolutely plagued with bugs, mostly related to the always online part, and while it's much better than when I played during launch, I still encountered significant lag, items disappearing, enemies glitching, events not starting, and more on public servers. So as you know, I rate games here on a 3-point scale, must play, maybe consider, don't bother. I do not think Fallout 76 is worth your time, even after all the upgrades they've put into it. Now, I do know some people really love this game, and I'm glad that you have fun with it. I'm never going to besmirch someone for enjoying a game, but I promise I gave this every possible benefit of the doubt, and I still just could not get into it, even after beating the entire game. They keep adding more free DLC and stuff to Fallout 76, but it doesn't matter because its core structure is just boring and uninspired, and the minute-to-minute gameplay just kind of sucks. I will admit, once you get to the late game raids with friends, those are actually pretty fun, but I only slogged the previous 100 hours to get to that point because I wanted to give this game a fair review, and I don't think it was worth it. Fallout 76 was an interesting experiment, I guess, but if you want an online-style Bethesda game, I found Elder Scrolls Online to be better in pretty much every way. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think about Fallout 76? Do you like it? Did you finally get into it? Do you play with friends? I think that's really the only way to have fun with this game, honestly. But regardless, go out there and avoid Fallout 76.